Today I'm going to show you what's inside of the Hyundai Blue Drive hybrid system and how it works. Now in this video we're going to be focusing more on the electronics. Now this is the power inverter. It's going to take high voltage from the battery, think about it, and then send it off into different places in the hybrid system to make it work. Now just like your girlfriend, electronics can also get very hot, and that's why they have a dedicated cooling system for it. This one's got its own circuit separate from the actual radiator on the internal combustion engine side and its own little water pump. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this little reservoir tank with its own little pressure cap. Now I can remove this reservoir, and as you can see, it's very simple: coolant in and coolant out. The water is going to flow inside and cool everything down like a giant heatsink. Taking a quick look around this hybrid inverter, you can see we've got a high voltage hookup here that comes from the big battery at the back. On the side here, there's a data line. There's also this 12 volt connector that's going to go to the fuse box and charge the 12 volt battery. On the side here, we have a connection for the AC compressor. Then at the front here, we have our big hookup that goes to a three-phase motor inside of the transmission. And this one goes to the hybrid starter generator connected to the crankshaft through a belt system on the engine. There's also two more here that I'm not too sure where they hook up to. I guess we'll find out. Now taking a look at the Hyundai Blue Drive system, we've got our internal combustion engine, and that's going to drive an electric motor. Now that can be decoupled from the electric motor with a clutch. The motor is also attached to a 6-speed automatic transmission, which in turn is going to drive the wheels. Now if you want to learn more about the mechanical side of how things are working, I've got a full teardown of the transmission I did last time. Make sure you check that out. For this video, we're just going to be focusing more on the electronics. Now the inverter assembly is what ultimately drives the electric motor, but buried in this assembly is a hybrid control unit which controls all of the electronics. The inverter is also going to power the AC compressor and a hybrid starter generator unit, which is hooked up to the accessory belt on the internal combustion engine that just helps to start the engine when the clutch is disengaged. The inverter is also responsible for charging the high voltage and low voltage battery to a DC to DC converter. So there's a couple of different modes on how this hybrid system works. First off, let's say you're in EV mode, you want to sneak away real quiet because you did something a little naughty. Well, the high voltage battery is now going to power the inverter, which in turn is going to turn the motor, and then the 6-speed automatic transmission can turn the wheels directly all the way up to highway speeds. The clutch is going to be disengaged and the internal combustion engine is going to turn off. So let's say you see some lights in your mirror, you want to step on it and get a little more power. Well, the inverter is going to realize that it needs to send power to the hybrid starter generator, which is connected to the crankshaft. That's going to start the internal combustion engine. It's now got to rev match it so that it matches the speed of the motor, and then engage the clutch. Otherwise you're going to fry it, as you saw in my last teardown, and only then can the internal combustion engine contribute to the torque for the transmission to turn the wheels. So let's say you're cresting over a hill and you let off the gas a little bit. Well, two things could happen. The first of which is the internal combustion engine could cut off completely, and then you're just left in EV mode alone like you were when you were accelerating. The second of which is your clutch is going to disengage, but the internal combustion engine is going to remain on and use the hybrid starter generator to generate power back to the inverter and charge the high voltage battery if it's low. So essentially you're using gasoline to charge the battery, and then the battery is actually going to propel the motor in EV mode. So let's say now as the cops pull up behind you, start stepping on the brakes. Well, the internal combustion engine may or may not cut off depending on the high voltage battery state. However, the clutch is going to disengage and the motor is now going to work in regenerative braking mode, taking kinetic energy through the transmission and becoming a generator to charge the high voltage battery. Now the inverter is also responsible for taking some of that high voltage energy and down converting it to charge the 12 volt battery. It's also responsible for running the electric AC compressor. That's right, the compressor is not driven off of the internal combustion engine's belt. It's electric, so it can work when your combustion engine is off. Let's take this thing apart. There's a bunch of Phillips up here, so I'm going to remove that next. Cool, this one's dated 2012 because that's the Sonata that I had. Let's remove the first board here. Again, more Phillips. Next up, I'm going to remove all these 4mm hex bolts going around. This inverter has some liquid inside, so I'm going to go ahead and just pour that through that glory hole over there. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to see if I can get this lid off. That separates this top module from the bottom. Two little wires I got to free here. You can take this top part off. Here we're now down to the cooling system. I'll take off this little plate here. Now this here is where the coolant's going to be coming in. It's going to pass through all these little fins here to transfer heat from the heat sink, which is basically the solid metal of this, out to the coolant to keep these electronics cool. A couple more bolts on the sides here. I'm going to remove this little plate here. Stinks in here, bro. Nasty. Alrighty, here's the cover. So this is our DC fusible link. That's the fuse. Alright, turn it over to the bottom with the part where nobody usually sees. I'm going to remove all of these hexes going around. Taking a look at our setup here, now this top piece here that has our connection for the fuse box is our DC to DC converter. Over on this side, this section here is our hybrid control unit. That's going to talk to the vehicle's CAN bus. Over on this side here, this board controls the AC compressor and its connection connects here. Now underneath this, you can see our high voltage hookups for our DC in here and our two motors out here. I'm going to pop this piece off here. We got Phillips to take off. And here comes the board for the AC compressor. Let's take this cover off. And that reveals what looks like the inverter assembly down below. Amazing that this little board here does all the communication between everything. Now this one that connects to the AC says Inverter MCU at the bottom there. So I'm sure this chip probably does some of the thinking through these wires that we disconnected. So let's continue taking these off. Alright, now I can pull up on this capacitor looking thing, and it says here it's a SH film capacitor rated at 600 volts, 680 microfarads for the first capacitor, 0.28 for the second one, and 0.28 for the third one. So there's actually 3 capacitors in here made in Korea. So here's a look at how this thing's laid out. We've got our DC current coming in here that goes directly into the capacitor. Now this capacitor's got a little discharge 120k ohm resistor on here just for safety. The power is then going to go directly to the 2 individual boards that are inside of here because there's 2 motors that we have to feed. Now the purpose of a capacitor is to store a little bit of energy, but it also helps us smooth out those AC waveforms during regenerative braking. Now looking inside of the inverter assembly, you can see there's 2 distinct boards. Our film capacitor is going to connect here for DC and DC, and our output becomes our AC 3-phase current. You'll see that underneath this plastic here, these are the bus bars that lead up to our drive motor and hybrid starter generator motor respectively. You've also got these little current sensors over here that make a loop around that bus bar in order to determine how much current is being sent to each motor and how fast it's turning. We've also got these 2 communication lines that went to the inverter control module up top. And we'll take the wires out for the current sensors. It's very modular. I like this design so far. Let's take out the bus bars. Phillips back here. And we can pull off the bus bar technology. Now bus bars are basically just giant pieces of metal that are folded in here because they need to be so wide to carry so much current. Using a wire would probably burn out. Cracked open, you can see these are the current sensors. They're just a loop that goes around, and by using the principle of electromagnetism, current passing through a loop of wire is going to create another current, and that's going to be picked up by this circuit inside of here. Now here's our connections, our junction boxes that connect to the big wire, and this one connects to the HSG. Now notably, the HSG connection is smaller and its bus bars are smaller than the one for the drive motor, and obviously it is a smaller motor, it's going to take less current. However, the inverters are exactly the same size. They're not any smaller than each other. Now before I tear this down further, I just got to say this inverter assembly in total and these little boards inside here are very, very compact, especially if you compare it to the Toyota and Ford designs of that 2012 era. Alright, let's remove these boards from the case. Pull this off, and as expected there's thermal paste behind there because these things get super hot and they need to transfer it over to the case where you saw the coolant on the back side of this. There's the other one. Now this heat paste stuff is just like anti-seize, so the best thing you gotta do is grab a pair of your brother's undies, make sure they're copper, make sure they're cotton, spray this down with some brake cleaner and wipe that off. Now the only thing left to see in this casing is that there's 2 wires that tap off of the high voltage that we disconnected earlier that goes to the DC to DC converter that sat on top. Just push off this connector and the rest is good cast aluminum. Now one thing I like is Hyundai's labeling everything pretty easily. This one's for the power module for the motor, and this one's specifically for the hybrid starter generator. Now one thing I'll also notice is that everything's labeled with Korea on it, and that's because Hyundai went through their own efforts to develop their own hybrid system. They were playing Big Brother. They didn't want to suck up to Toyota and license their technology the way Nissan and Ford did. Now there are some Torx bolts and some solder points on here, so I'm just going to get my soldering iron so I can unsolder that from this board. This circuit board wafer dust probably not good for my house. Anyways, it's hammer time. Oh, it actually came apart. But I still need to get inside of here. Pry that open. Ooh, look at that. This stuff tastes really bad. Probably really bad for my breath too. Now these are called insulated gate bipolar transistors. They're going to basically switch on and off to take that direct current, turn it into a waveform, and phase it into 3 different phases 120 degrees apart. Now when you're slowing down, there's regenerative braking. That means that the transmission is going to bring its energy through the motor and then turn that into electricity that needs to be rectified before it goes out to direct current and then goes out to the smoothing capacitors before charging the battery. Now this IGBT set is extremely small and compact, especially compared to the other designs. I really like that they've done that. I just don't know about the reliability of it. Now taking a look at how the system works, we've got 270 volts direct current, which is going to come in as a single line here from the battery into the capacitor and transistor, which is inside of the inverter assembly. The transistor is going to switch that on and off rapidly in order to form a sine wave. It's also going to make 3 waves that are 120 degrees apart from each other, which are going to be U, V, and W phase. And these are going to mimic alternating current wave. Now those 3 phases are going to be fed to the stator inside of the motor, where it's going to be excited, and that's going to allow the rotor inside, which has the permanent magnets, to turn, therefore powering the 6-speed automatic transmission and then the wheels. Now under regenerative braking, we've got the wheels now pushing the transmission, which is pushing the motor. The motor is now going to be producing 3-phase alternating current that looks like this. But in order to charge the battery, you first need to rectify it using these diodes, and that's going to take that plus minus sine wave and turn it into a plus plus sine wave. Finally, that current goes through a capacitor, which is going to smoothen it out to a very tiny ripple, which can then charge the battery. Now there's no free energy that goes between the battery and the wheels as you speed up and slow down. That's why you've got the internal combustion engine, which is going to burn gasoline to provide kinetic energy to either the transmission and wheels or to the motor to become a generator and charge the battery. Now fun fact, Hyundai started designing their hybrid concepts way back in the mid-2000s when the Prius took off. Now they wanted to design something different than what Toyota did with their series parallel hybrid and put a single motor in line with the transmission with an extra motor hanging off the side of the internal combustion engine. Now that hybrid starter generator can also create 3-phase current, which is going to go back and charge the high voltage battery. So now that we see how the inverter assembly works with the capacitor and the transistor, let's take a look at the DC converter. Now the DC to DC converter is a little bit larger than the inverter by comparison. Now it's got something in this area here that's kind of holding it down other than screws. My bet is it's probably some transistors. I'm going to go ahead and slowly pry that off. Yeah, there we go. Taking a look at how this works, we got our high voltage coming in here. Now that board that sat on top of here connected to these pedestals, which I'm pretty sure have the transistors underneath them to turn that DC into alternating current. Now because transformers only work with alternating current, this is going to be a center tap transformer, which is going to step that down. There's 2 other transformers on either side, and then you need to rectify that with some diodes before sending it out over here to charge the low voltage battery. Now this entire thing's job is basically what an alternator does on a car, even though this car has what looks like an alternator, but it's the HSG for the high voltage battery, not for the low voltage one. Alright, let's start buzzing off some screws here so we can play with the parts. Last little bit is to take the transistors off. Yeah, that was my toe. And the rest of this is just a casing. Alright, very simple to reiterate. High voltage coming in. We've got 4 transistors that are going to make it into a sine wave. Over here we've got our center tap transformers over here that are going to transform that current from 270 down to 14. And here we've got our 2 little diodes which are going to rectify that current back down to a flat current. And then these guys are our capacitors which are going to smoothen that out before it goes out to the battery. So you have a nice level DC 14 volts to charge that little battery. Taking a look at the hybrid battery on the Hyundai Sonata Hybrid, you can see it lives back here inside this cavity, and that's why these back seats don't fold down. Now looking from behind this trunk, you can see how much space the hybrid battery does take up. Now that port over there is where this safety switch is going to plug into, so I'm going to make sure I keep that off to the side and don't get electrocuted. You can also see the cooling system, so it's going to draw air just behind the third brake light down through this duct over here to cool off the battery. The blower motor is here, which is then going to expel it outside the vehicle through these vents. We're going to remove the top half and the vents so we can disconnect all the wiring. Now with this all taken apart, you can see these are the 2 high voltage cables here that connect to the contactor over here on the battery. We've also got the 12 volt terminal here that comes from the small battery located in the trunk that goes to the front of the vehicle's fuse box. Our blower motor sits off to the side here. It looks just like any other HVAC blower motor, and surprisingly there's no filter, so you got to make sure you clean this stuff out. This uses newer battery technology which is more energy dense, and that's why this thing is a lot lighter weight, but it still holds enough energy to propel the car at highway speeds. Here you've got individual battery battery cells. You can see they're kind of grouped together with all of these monitors here that lead up to the battery ECU that controls all of this and monitors things like temperature and voltage. Now the design of the hood here allows air to pass in between these cells here, and you can see these are the individual temperature cells. Typically you get hot spots in the between here, but if you maintain your cooling system and keep it free of dust, unlike this one, then it should last you a long time. Now you can think of the contactor like a very high voltage relay. Essentially you've got that voltage coming in here and then coming out the back over here to go down into the body to the inverter in the front of the vehicle. You've got a little 12-volt signal that's going to signal this contactor, and it's got special methods to prevent it from arcing because this is very high voltage. And you can see this is the breakaway here where it's going to go to that safety plug, where essentially it's going to chop the voltage in half when you remove that safety plug, therefore dividing the risk but also creating an open circuit in the middle of the battery. In fact, the battery pack is quite simple. You just got one hookup over here that connects to the vehicle's CAN bus, and then your high voltage lines over here. And that's a look at all of the components inside of the Hyundai Blue Drive system and how it works. Now in my opinion, I think Hyundai did a pretty good job for doing everything themselves. It's also a very compact system when it comes to the battery, the inverter, and even sandwiching that motor in between the engine and the transmission. Now unfortunately, if you are thinking about getting one of these Hyundai hybrids, the mechanical side of things are not looking as good as the electronics, in that the clutch that controls the motor absolutely is undersized and will burn out, and the engines are absolutely known for self-cannibalism, as we all know with Hyundai and Kia engines. Link above if you want to check out the teardown on those two. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one.